Good morning. It is Sunday morning, just leaving the Powerhouse Gym in New Haven. Today was delt day and had an awesome delt workout. I tried to do things a little bit differently today. Again, I'm working with a strained knee. Got my We Create Athlete t-shirt on. T-shirt on from Clinical Sports Labs. Make sure you're following them at Team CS Labs. Today's workout, I always start with cardio. I try to do about 20 minutes of cardio. Why do I do that? I have a protein shake before I train. I have some branched chains, and I have some glutamine. And I think that by doing some light cardio, gets the blood flowing, gets the nutrient flow going, and we get ready to train. Started today's workout with seated hammer strength presses, selectorized. I like that movement because when I push them up together, I feel a nice burn in my delts, feel the caps of the delts. A little bit of front delt work on that thing when you do them, but a great pump. For that exercise, I did a few sets. I start with 2 sets of 15, again, getting the blood flow going. Go to a set of 12, set of 10, and then 2 sets of 8 after that. Remember, the delts as a group aren't a big muscle, so you need to stimulate them with some variety of different movements, including in a variety of different rep schemes. I like to do that 15, 12, 10, 8 thing. Sometimes I'll throw in some 6s if I'm feeling particularly strong, but today I felt like getting some good sets of 8 for myself. After I leave the seated hammer strength press, I went over to standing lateral raises. Now, when I do standing lateral raises, A, I do one arm at a time. B, I keep the rep scheme between 10 and 12, and on the last rep for each arm, I hold it for 5 seconds so I'm horizontal to the floor. That really forces the blood flow into the muscle. Nice and slow. I start the handle right in front, right between my legs kind of thing, by my groin, and then I lift it up nice and slow on the way up, nice and slow on the way down. I don't over-exaggerate the movement. I think that's where your shoulders start getting hurt. I stop when I'm just about ear level. So if I'm doing it, it's up about this high up, and that's about it. And I hold it again. The last rep I hold for about 5 seconds to really get a burn. I did 4 sets of 10 to 12 on that particular movement. I wait about 90 seconds between sets. That seems to work best for me. If I'm pressed for time, I really want to get a good groove going, I might cut it down to 60. But right now I'm waiting about 90 seconds between sets. One of the great things about training at the Super Gym here in New Haven, Powerhouse Gym, is they have a huge digital clock. So you can look up and say, okay, you know what, I can really time my rest period between workouts really accurately. The next movement I did for delts was rear delts. As someone who's judged in the past and as someone who looks at a lot of physiques, I think one of the lacking body parts in most physiques are rear delts. I don't know why. You don't need a lot of weight. You just need consistent training when you do rear delts. I did the seated pec deck, grab the handles and pull them to reverse. On this one here, I did 1 set of 15 to just get the blood going nice and slow. I don't squeeze at the end. I don't contract, but I feel the rear delt throughout the entire rep range. My next set was for 12 reps, and then I did 2 more sets of 10. So on the seated rear delt pec deck machine, it was 15, 12, 10, and 10. My last movement for delts, and some people train their traps on back day. I prefer not to. I like to do them on delt day. Was barbell shrugs, old-fashioned barbell shrugs. Put on 135 on the bar, strapped in, and did 3 sets of 10, which got a nice burn. Many years ago, I was at the Animal Kingdom in Atlanta, Georgia, where Lee Haney's gym, and I ran into Lee Haney. And this was in the era when he was big and thick and winning all those Olympias, and I was training back, of all things. And Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney, came out to turn the shoulders. All you're asking for is shoulder injury there. It's up, squeeze, and down. And here's the key. Here's the tip. Mike's tip of the day. When you're doing your traps, let the bar hang on the bottom for 3 to 5 seconds. That pulls all the muscles down. According to Lee Haney, and Lee Haney has some pretty good traps, according to Lee Haney, that's where the growth happens. When you're taking that weight and you're letting it pull the traps down. You bring it up, no rotating, bring it up, you squeeze, you think, okay, I got to try to get my delts to touch my ears, which they don't do. Got to get my delts to try to touch my ears. I let it down, let it hang for 3 to 5 seconds, and do another rep. For traps, because I think it takes a lot of energy exertion, I wait about 2 minutes between sets, not the 90 seconds. Seems to work well for me for traps. And that's my delt workout. Pretty simple, pretty basic, nothing crazy. Wait a minute, Mike, you don't train front delts. No, I don't. Unless I'm getting ready for a show and I'm about 6 weeks out from a show, I do not train front delts. I'm going to tell you why. When you're doing your chest and you're doing seated presses on a hammer strength, you're getting plenty of front delt work. I don't need to over-exaggerate my front delts. If anything, I need to work my rear delts because my front delts are overpowering my whole side chest area. So I don't do front delts. I keep my workout pretty simple. I keep my workout pretty basic. But let's just recap. Seated presses on a hammer strength, 2 arms up at a time, 15, 12, 10, 8, and 8. Standing side laterals, 12, 10, hold at the end of each rep for a 5 count. Really burn the muscle. By then, your delts are pretty toasted. Rear delts, seated on the pec deck, grab the handles, pull them back. Continual, slow movements. Work that rear delt muscle. It's not big, not a big muscle. Doesn't take a ton of weight to do. You don't need to heave a lot of weight, but just consistent. And my last movement for delts is shrugs. I do traps on traps on delt day. Train hard, train consistent. It's Sunday morning. You know it's pancake day in my house. That's going to happen. Going to whip up some pancakes. I'm going to use some clinical protein, scoop of that, mix up some pancakes with some oats in it. I might throw some blueberries in there. I might throw some strawberries. I chop up some almonds. It's almost like a meal. And I put some egg whites in there, so delivering about 35 grams of protein in my protein pancakes. Have an awesome day. If you have any questions, you can tweet me. I'm at Michael Karuba. I am the owner and founder of Clinical Sports Labs. Be sure you check us out. We make some awesome products, including a kick-ass pre-workout called Fear No Workout. I am pulling into Dunkin' Donuts. Time for my coffee. Had my protein shake. And I'm good to go. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace out. Live with passion. Bye.